guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm so excited about today's video because we just got back from Disney World, settling in from that vacation, the Disney blues. We're going to talk about Mickey's Very Merry Christmas. We're going to talk about Jollywood, going to Disney World, and I'm going to be answering all the questions that you all have been throwing at me over the last few weeks, such as like, what do I do at my real job? Or how in the world are you going to homeschool Annie? And all the Disney World questions, like, I'm going to answer them all. So before we jump in, hit the like button, let's hit the subscribe button, and let's get to answering all those questions that you all are wondering about. Okay, so the very first question, let's just go ahead and run into this. Do you have any Disney trips scheduled in 2025? If so, what months? I do have a few trips scheduled in 2025. The big one is always September because that's Annie's birthday month, that's Tyler's birthday month, so that's like our yearly Disney splurge. We are staying at Old Key West, and actually it's an entire family trip. So my parents, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew, we are going to be staying in a 3-bedroom villa that I am so excited about. We got that through the DVC rentals, and if you have any questions about that, like, make sure to ask me about it because I saved 50% on this place. Like, I saved $5,000 on a 3-bedroom villa for a week's stay, which is absolutely incredible. So cannot wait for that trip. And I've also never stayed at Old Key West, so I've heard amazing reviews. People that have stayed there absolutely love it, and it's one of those deluxe resorts that is really inexpensive. So super excited to go to that one. I also have a January trip planned. And then things that I've not actually like booked. March, that's my birthday. I like to go in March. In the end of April, we like to go on our international trip to some sort of country. So that's gonna be our anniversary trip. And then we typically just go to Disney World like every other month. So May will probably be in there. July will be in there. Only 2 booked, I think, right now, if I can remember correctly. I know I've been starting to plan my March trip because I'm also trying to be more planful. So maybe that will save me more money. We'll see. So yes, I do have some trips planned. Plans for 2025, trips and goals. So this question is kind of similar to the one before, but I liked that they asked me my goals, and I would love to share a few of them. So obviously I would love for my YouTube channel to continue to grow so I can help everyone out there, because I know what it feels like to be a busy mom. Obviously, like, I've been really trying to go into that niche lately of like, all moms are busy. Like, there's no reason for us to compare like a stay-at-home mom or a mom that works full-time, and like, just being a mom is just daggone hard, and all of us are busy no matter what circumstance that we're in. We feel like we're being pulled in a million different directions. So that's kind of like the niche that I'm going into, and hoping that I can help everyone, and moms in particular, feel confident in motherhood, whether that is going to Disney World or going on a beach vacation or just out here just trying to do our best. That is my goal, because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I just want to put it out there. Like, everything is fine. Like, you are just doing an amazing job. I want this channel to be somewhere that moms can go to feel encouraged, to feel confident in motherhood first and foremost. And then if they choose to go to Disney World, that's awesome. And I want them to feel confident in that journey and in that adventure as well. So that is my goal, is to continue to grow my YouTube channel, to provide those experiences and that encouragement on the internet for all those moms out there. So that is my big goal. Also, another goal would be, I know I kind of touched on it in the question before. Another goal is to become financially free, I guess. I want to pay off all of our debt. So yes, we are still going to Disney World. Yes, thankfully to you guys and all of your support, it does help provide the finances to go on these trips, to show real life experiences to you guys to help you. But I want to continue to grow the channel. That would also help in that area, but I want to also be mindful and wise in my spending now that we are actually going to Disney World quite a few times in a year. So this is the year that we've went to Disney World the most, and it's a big financial expense. So whether that's flying budget airlines a lot more than what we did previously with Delta, because we are gold members. So maybe flying budget airlines a lot more, maybe going on shorter trips rather than like 7 days, still showing you guys real life and how to do Disney World, but also being mindful that like finances is a big thing in all of our lives. And I just want to be financially free to, not be so dependent on my full-time job, I guess, and all the pressures of life and being able to, provide for Annie as she grows up. So long answer to the goal thing, but yeah. Do you leave your bag in the stroller or take it on rides? I don't know what to do. I typically leave all of my goodies with the stroller minus my fanny pack. So in my jumbo fanny pack, I always wear one from Stony Clover, and I'll have my cell phone in there and like my tiny wallet that has all of my cards in it and my annual passes or anything that is important. You just want to keep that on your body. So my camera comes with me, my cell phone, and everything else I just leave on the stroller. It's never been an issue, even with Annie as a baby, like the diaper bag that we brought in. And even when she was a baby, God, I overpacked way too much. And I left it on the stroller. So I've never had any issues. I know I've heard some of the horror stories of just really unethical people out there that just are not experiencing the Disney magic. So I understand and I hear your concern, but nothing has ever personally happened to me. And again, I just don't leave anything in the stroller that is just going to absolutely break my heart. One trick and one hack that I do with my stroller is I have hidden an air tag in the stroller. You're not going to find it. Like, I promise you're not going to find it. I hid it in there. And so the benefit of that is that instance. But the second one is we've had actually cast members move our strollers because they're making more room for the strollers, and or it was closing time and they had to move our stroller out of like the closed off area. And the cast member was saying, hey, your stroller's not back this way. It's going to be moved up here. It wasn't moved. So then I was able to show her like, it's right here. It's still in the closed off area. So that was really, really helpful. So I would really recommend getting an air tag. I love even flying with air tags in my luggage. It's super helpful, but that's a little tip. But yeah, just keep your personal items with you, or anything that's just going to break your heart. Like, either leave it in the resort or put it on you. That's my biggest suggestion. Next question, can you post more life around the house or day in the life? This is a great question, just simply because my clean with me videos and my decorate with me videos for Christmas, they blew up. And my husband was like, maybe you need to start cleaning more. And I'm like, I need these videos to not do as well, because I would rather go to Disney World than clean my house. But very thankful for those cleaning and the decorate with me for Christmas videos that did so well. But yeah, sometimes I toy with the idea, maybe this winter we'll see a lot more of me around the house and like daily chores, or I would love to incorporate some of my activities and planning, because we're dibble-dabbling in the homeschool. Annie's starting preschool a year early, so I'm just trying to get my footing in there before we get really, really serious. So yeah, maybe if that's something you all want to see. I know I used to have a large following on Instagram over like clean eating, exercise, just like the mom life from that standpoint of like what to feed a toddler or a baby. Like, before Annie was 1, she had tried 100 different types of food before she hit 1. So I was really, really into that when she was an infant. So now I love to just kind of like play with her and cook with her. So if that's something that you all like, maybe just kind of throw it in the comments to let me know you'd like to see that, or you just kind of mix some things like cook with me and like clean with me and then plan for Disney kind of vlog. I don't know. What are your ideas? Throw them in the comments and I'd love to read them. Are we going to get a Christmas shopping haul? At the time of this video, Thanksgiving is 1 week away, so this video is probably posting on a Sunday, and Thanksgiving is this Thursday, and Black Friday is this Friday. So I have already been posting some of my favorites and like a gift guide and some of the things that we actually have gotten to Annie from past years and this year over on my Instagram. So go over there or go to my Like to Know It page or my Amazon storefront. But I don't know if we're gonna do a shopping haul. I still haven't figured out how creators actually are like doing this. Like, this is a shopping guide that we got all of our kids without your kids seeing it. Like, I'm out here just trying to figure out how to hide all the gifts from Annie as it is. We got a big box today, and I took a big Christmas tree bag that we store it in, and I took it outside with me and put it in there and then just drug it in the house in the garage. So she doesn't know about that. And then Tyler had some gifts. It was actually his idea. So parent hack unlocked, because our house is not huge. And even with the size that it is, like, Annie is that nosy 4-year-old and she's just going to find all the things. So I haven't figured out how creators actually do shopping hauls that they're actually giving their kid the stuff without the kids seeing it, because Annie in this house, she's just way too daggone nosy. So I don't know, but if you are interested in what we are getting her and you're just trying to find some ideas of what to get your kiddos, there are some things that are gender neutral. And of course, there's some super, super girly stuff in there. So if you are interested in what we are getting Annie, probably will not be doing a shopping haul, but go to my, again, Like to Know It page, my Amazon storefront, or, you know, hang out with me on Instagram. I post a lot of stuff on there as well. Next up, are you going to Disney in December/Christmas time? I wish that I was going to Disney in December. We have already been there for Christmas time. We were actually there for the opening weekends of the Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood. A lot more answers and questions to those parties in a bit. But yeah, we've already been there for Christmas time this year, and it was an amazing time. But no, unfortunately, we will not be back in the month of December, like I already told you. January is our next trip. How did you get started on YouTube? I absolutely love this question, and I think this is typically how most creators get started as well, is purely by accident. So backstory, I always loved going to Disney World. My grandparents used to live in the Tampa Bay area in St. Petersburg. And as a child, we would go down there ever so often to go visit my grandparents. The first time I went to Disney World, I was 2 years old. And I guess we just went after that. So loved going to Disney World. Then as an adult, I brought Tyler to Disney World for his first time in our mid-20s maybe. I don't even remember it at this point, maybe higher 20s. He had never been to Disney World. We went 2 years in a row. That's where he proposed, blah, blah, blah. Love story, love it, happily ever after, amen. And then we had Annie, and she was born in 2020. So kind of hard to go on a vacation, kind of hard to go to Disney World. They had to wear masks on the flights. There was just a lot of questions, and gosh, it was really, really stressful trying to travel with a child during those times. During that time, I had gotten recruited from my current job now, and Tyler saw the potential salary that I was going to be making, and he was like, you know what? I'll make you a deal. If you get this job, we'll go to Disney World for Christmas for Annie's first trip to Disney World. And I'm like, no problem. I'm getting the job. So joke's on him. Got the job. We went to Disney World, and I was that mom that packed every moment was packed and full. And I remember in the mornings, I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm so exhausted. I don't even want to go to a park right now because I am just so stinking tired. Annie was very emotional. Tyler was exhausted as well. And I think it was like a 7-day trip. And I'm telling you, we got off the airplane, we went straight to Magic Kingdom, had lunch or dinner at Cinderella's Royal Table. We rope dropped every morning. We early entered every morning. It was stinking packed. I think we even went to a park and fished before we even left on the last day, like packed full. So whenever I'm talking about, like, I want you to feel confident and pace yourself and all the tips and tricks, like, I've been there, and I understand the pressure that we put on ourselves when we're going to Disney World, especially if you don't go that often. Like, I did not anticipate me going to Disney World as much as we did. So I was like, okay, we got to pack everything in here, and I don't know when the next time that we're going to be able to go. So I have to do everything, every restaurant, every reservation, blah, blah, blah. So did that, and then I got hooked again. And so then I booked a trip and just started kind of videoing with my cell phone, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And of course, like, there's some really, really great vloggers out there that I was very, very interested in. Like, the biggest one, like the biggest inspiration that I had and still have is Ashley Wright with Pixie Dusted Mom and Becca Hart. I was just like, this is incredible. You're going to Disney World and you're monetized, like you're getting some sort of financial support from YouTube, and like you're just videoing you and your kids going to Disney World and helping others. Like, that's amazing. So then I just kind of like did it for funsies. Like, I love home videos of me being at Disney World. And so I was like, you know what, let's just make some home videos of our family going to Disney World. And so then I was like, yeah, let's get serious. And did it, started editing, starting to learn how to edit. And my word, if you go on some of the videos that from the very beginning, they, bless my heart, you can tell that I was very, very new at it, but very, very appreciative of all the ones that were like, oh, like, she's really trying, and you subscribed anyway. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But anyway, I just, again, kind of was inspired by them that they could do it. I'm already going to Disney World. Why not put it out there and to help others myself? So that is how I stumbled into YouTube. And again, like, did not anticipate me to grow this quickly. I have not been even doing YouTube for 2 years, and I already have 3,500 subscribers. So thank you, thank you, thank you for, you know, all the love and support that you guys show me. Will you homeschool Annie? If so, how will you do it with a full-time job? Already touched on this a little bit, but yes, the plan is for the foreseeable future, not just writing this off for eternity, is to homeschool Annie. I think that it's just right for our family. I think it's just right for Annie. How will I do it with a full-time job? I'm just gonna do it. The same thing, like moms, we just do it. We just don't have an option, and somehow we find these superpowers within us to do it. And again, I will just kind of say it again. I want this channel to be somewhere that moms can come to feel confident in their role as a mother. Again, whether you're going to Disney World, whether you want to homeschool your kid, whether you send your kid to public school or a private school, and you're just kind of doing all the things. Like, this is a place where I want you to feel encouraged and loved and confident in your role as a mom. So yes, I'm gonna figure it out. Like I said earlier, I'm just kind of dibble-dabbling in this, trying to figure it out, getting her accustomed to, yes, mommy is the teacher, but also not really, because this is just for fun. So we're already working on countries and working on naming all the states. We're already working on addition and subtraction and just making this fun. We bought Life, the board game, the other day, and now we're learning how to count like money, like 10,000, 100,000, 50,000, all the things. So anything that I can use to have her apply or think critically or enhance her knowledge, I think that could help her in many ways. And so we're just going to figure this out. I do already have some curriculum for pre-K to start probably this summer to get really, really serious. But again, I'm just playing with a bunch of the workbooks that I already have. We have some flashcards. We're working on reading and sight words and the sounds of letters. So again, just making it fun. So as an example, I'll get home from work. Typically I get home from work around anywhere between 4:30 and 5:30. And maybe an example would be me cooking dinner and her sitting at the bar, and we're kind of working together and having these conversations about letters or numbers or etc. Maybe it is us on the plane and I'm like, okay, let's play addition. So 2 plus 2, when you put them together, what is that? Oh, that's 4. But if you take one away, if you have 4 and you take one away, how many do you have now? Oh, 4 minus 1 is 3. So different options and ways to teach her. And especially with us going to Disney World and me being hopeful and praying that my YouTube channel will continue to grow, sending her off to school would be a little bit more difficult, considering that I am a full-time worker and also have a second job, which is YouTube. So we're just out here figuring it out. Again, I'm not saying she's going to be homeschooled forever. Maybe she will be. Maybe she'll love it. Maybe we'll send her to a private school later on. I don't know. We're just going to figure this out, my husband and I and Annie, and include her in on the conversation. But as of now, we're going to homeschool, and I'm just going to figure it out and utilize my time. What is your favorite all-time Walt Disney World resort? This is a 2-in-1 answer, and this is the resort that we stayed at in September, and that would be the Yacht and Beach Club. We actually did a split stay. We always said like the Yacht Club is our favorite, just the atmosphere and the theming, and like we looked out of our balcony and it was the water and you could see the boardwalk. And then let's say we're hungry. Well, okay, let's just walk into Epcot and grab some food. You've got the ferry that can ferry over to Hollywood Studios, or you can walk to Hollywood Studios. You've got a ton of options, but we had never stayed at the beach club. So again, I rented DVC points through DVC Rentals, which again, another plug. If you're interested in them, let me know. And I do have a link in my description if you're interested on saving 40 to 60% on your deluxe resort. Anyway, so I did do a one bedroom villa where I got it for $400 a night. Insane. I know it's very inexpensive. If you're saying, oh my God, that's very expensive, honey, that gets like $1,000 a night. It's wild. So we did not stay there for 7 nights because the yacht club was a little bit cheaper with our pass holder discount. So we were like, holy smokes, this is like a level unlocked, because we had never stayed in a 1-bedroom villa. We'd stayed in studios like at the Grand. We've stayed at the Riviera. I can't even remember. It's my goal to stay at all the resorts. I think I've got like 5 left that I got to do out of all the Disney resorts. But anywho, we love just the Yacht and Beach Club. It is just a beautiful, beautiful resort. And it makes you feel like you're actually on a vacation. And also Stormalong Bay, you have that. Now that Annie is a little bit older, she's able to enjoy it. And it's not the fine sand that is like at the Grand Floridian when you want to go out there and play in the sand. It's a sand bottom pool at Stormalong Bay, and it's like really, really small, like pebble sand like. So it doesn't get everywhere. I don't mind that sand unless you get out of the pool and go by the water and then play in the sand like right there. It's an overall family favorite resort. That is the resort that Annie chose for her birthday this year. What made you fall in love with going to Disney? I hate to give like one of those answers of, oh, it makes me feel free and it like all of the stresses of life, they just walk away and I just feel like a child again. I'd hate to say that like none of that is good reason, but it's all great reason. Like I can walk away or fly away from all the stresses of work and just kind of unplug. It's my area that I can unplug. And people are like, well, Andrea, you walk so much there and it's exhausting. I'm like, no, when I walk away from work and the mental load that I have at work, this is freeing. Like I just kind of go and I go in autopilot. Like I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. And if I don't know where I'm going or don't know what I'm doing, it's like, okay, well, we'll just find something to do. There's plenty of things for us to do. It's never ending because people are like, oh, once you do it, you've already done it all. No. There's a ton to do. So, and I would say like, yes, a mental load. Yes, I still feel the emotions. Yes, I've had an anxiety attack at the Disney World. Like everything is still normal, but I would rather have an anxiety attack at Disney World than here at home. Right? So I just love it. And on top of that, I love being able to have literal set aside family time with Annie. That like she's going to grow up one day. She might not want to go to Disney World with me or a vacation ever again when she's 18 years old or whatever have you. Like, I wanted to make the most of every moment that I have with Annie. And of course, being a working mom, that requires me to spend some time away from her. And it's just nice to say, you know, we're going to Disney World these days. Don't contact me. I'm not checking my email, and I'm going to go have some uninterrupted time with my family. Tyler does not come with us every trip. He typically goes down to Disney World like maybe twice a year, and then he'll go on our international trip for our anniversary. But yeah, I just love going to Disney World because it's just freeing and intentional time with my family. Will Annie be your only baby? This kind of ties in with the question before. So yes, Annie will be my only child unless we have a surprise. So the plan is that Annie is going to be the only one. We just feel complete. And that's why I have another one. Also, just the stresses of mom life. I think if our situation was different and I did not work full time, maybe I would consider having another child, but it's just not in the cards. And also, like, the infancy stage with Annie was stressful and I didn't have sleep. I just don't know if I would be an amazing mom if I had a second child, to be completely honest. I breastfed Annie for 18 months, and I remember Annie's first trip to Disney World, and I think she was like 15 months. And I think that's really whenever I was like, okay, I've not slept in 2 years, almost 3 years at this point, because my first sign of pregnancy was pregnancy insomnia. So I just stopped sleeping as soon as I got pregnant with Annie. And when we were at Disney World, I was exhausted. And then I was still waking up in the middle of the night to nurse her. And I was like, Tyler, I've got to have some help. Oh, hello. We're just talking about you. So for the betterment of me, I think I would be the best mom possible with just Annie. I would figure it out if I had another child. And of course, like, again, I will repeat myself. We always figure it out. We're super moms. We always figure it out. But I just feel, Tyler and I both feel very, very complete with just her, and also just the financial aspect of it all. Kids are very, very expensive. And truly, if we had another child, then, are you making silly faces? Jesus. See this. If we had another child, like, would we actually be able to continue on with our YouTube channel? Because that would be an additional expense. And I pay for her pass. That's $1,500 for an out-of-state pass holder. And if I had another child, that's just a lot of money. So you're talking about food, you're talking about flights, you're talking about just normal life. Like, one day she's gonna want a car. She really has expensive taste already. So it's just a lot. So, man, went on a rampage and, like, really out there into the weeds. But yeah, Annie is going to be our only child. And also, I will say, from like a personal level standpoint, I am just amazed at women that have more than one child and how you spread yourself evenly with all of your children, whether you have 2 children or 10 children. Like, it goes back to that motherhood thing. You are incredible. I don't know how you are doing it. So I have a friend that has 3 children with also a full-time job that works the same amount as I do. And I'm like, you're seriously incredible. Like, amazing job. How many times do you go to Disney World in a year? Currently, unless I get a wild hair, we typically go to Disney World every 6 to 8 weeks. So that puts us at math of 6 times to Disney World in a year. And then plus on top of that, our international trip. So we're going on a trip about 7 times in a year, which is crazy because I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that this would be possible. So thank you guys for all your love and your support, because every time that you watch a video, you support me on here, or anytime that you shop one of my links, It is super, super helpful and spreads the love and the vision of my channel of helping other moms out there. So thank you. So we're busy bees around here, but I love it at the same time.
When did you and Tyler meet?
Tyler and I met in the year of 2003. We both went to the same high school. He was a junior whenever I was a freshman. No, we were not high school sweethearts. No, I did not want to date him. No. We were just in the same friend group. Was not interested in dating him at all. He then, in college, we hung out a lot. And then I think it was right before I graduated from school, like graduated from college. And then we started hanging out a lot more and more serious. And I would invite him over for pizza. And I just fell in love with him. And I knew that he was my person. And it was like January 4th that I put it on my Facebook that we were in a relationship. And he said, "Why did you put that we were in a relationship on Facebook?" And I said, "Because we are." And he's like, "No, we're not." So I never took it down. And so then we're in a relationship. And then I said, you need to propose to me at some point because I love you and I want to marry you. And here we are. So then he was like, "You know what? I'll propose if I win this fishing tournament." And he was joking. I wasn't. And I said, "Deal." He won the fishing tournament. So then he had to propose. So he's in my marriage by force.
If you took a year off Disney, where would you travel instead? Good question.
I can give you two answers. The first one would be a funny answer, and I would just travel to work. My husband would be thrilled that I saved all this money by not going to Disney World. So if I took off a year for Disney World, I would be just going to work and just saving money. That would be just way too boring. So if I gave you like the real heart's desire, I would love, we want to go to Hong Kong to go to that Disneyland. We want to go to Paris. Annie was just telling me today, I want to go there when it's snowing. That would be beautiful to see Disneyland in Paris snowing. But you said no Disney. So I would, first of all, love to go back to Peru and bring Tyler and Annie. I went there on a missions trip to meet our little girl that we sponsor. We send her through school. It lives in Peru, and we are trying to provide a life for her. Her name is Valeria. And so I would love to go back to Peru and dedicate some of our time and love to her and her family and her community. So that would be my first choice. I would still love to go to Paris because it just seems like it would be beautiful. And I maybe throw a beach in there, like Turks and Caicos. They go to the country with like the bungalows that sit on top of the water. Indonesia, is that it? Somebody will have to correct me if I'm wrong. Would love to go there. I don't know. That's a really, really great question that I probably should have prepped for. So, I would even just love to go to Hawaii. We've never been to Hawaii. That's in the talks of going to Aulani, but that's Disney. But I would love to spend like a full week and a half in Hawaii and see all the things there. It looks beautiful. And I don't know, maybe Australia, just places that I'd never been. An African safari would be just amazing. Spain would be incredible. Let's roll the dice. If I didn't go to Disney World, let's just find a cheap flight and just go wherever. Let's roll the dice.
You're on a budget. What resort are you staying at?
The answer would be where we stayed our last trip for Christmas. So Christmas time is really, really expensive at the Disney World. So including the resorts. And Pop is actually my favorite budget-friendly resort. So we stayed at Pop. We've stayed in the 50s, and then we just stayed in the 80s. So it's just such a fun resort, especially for kids. Like Annie loves the larger in life elements all over the resort. And then we were even able to kind of walk around, and it kind of goes back to that homeschooling thing. You can learn anything. So there was signs all over the resort of what happened in what years. So we would do that. Then she would ask, what year were you born in? And what year was Bucklebee, my my brother, Uncle Brandon, what year was he born in? And so then we could go and try to find those numbers in order. So 1988, 1990, etc. So it's just a really, really cool resort. And then every single morning she had to go get a picture with Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Like, they're huge. So that would be my favorite resort to stay at when on a budget. And also, like I said, I want to be financially free, so we might just be staying at the Pop a lot more than what we typically do throughout this year. I do like Art of Animation just for, again, the larger in life elements all over. They have a fantastic splash pad. Am I a super, super fan of the Little Mermaid fans? Those are the most affordable rooms at Art of Animation. I'm not super, super crazy. I would rather stay at Pop in their newly renovated rooms. So they are really, really nice. And I just like the room setup in there.
The big popular question that so many of you guys asked is, what do you do as your day job?
The big question everybody has to know. So I am in a leadership position for a large company here in my area. The reason why I don't really share this piece of information is because it is my main source of income. And I do like to keep these separate, even though I am very involved in both of them. Again, I do have to respect the company that I do work for and my role that I'm in. So I do try to keep that as private as possible. And I know I'm just kind of like putting the feelers out there of like people just, or you all just want to know. And like, I have my life on the interweb, like, reasonable question for everybody to ask. That's totally fine. But just because this is the main source of income for our family and is my main source of income for the family, and this is why we are able to go to Disney World, I do like to keep it private. But I will share that I am in a leadership position. I do oversee about 100 people and have a great team that I collaborate with, and I could not do it without them. I'm extremely, extremely thankful for them. And one thing that I do love about my job is the people. Like, it is my favorite part that I get to share my time of day with them and help them succeed and help them meet their goals and their aspirations that they are going after. So that is my favorite part of the job. And in addition to my job, these people let me in their personal lives as well. So when you are in a leadership position, sometimes you do find out about people's personal lives. And so there's an extra level of expectancy in my life or in my role as a leader, because I do want these people to succeed and I want the best for everybody, even in their personal life. So most of the time, the mental load at work is like the hardest part of my job. And that's when I was saying earlier that I like to go to Disney World and escape, because my job is so mentally intense. So not only do I have like the responsibilities and the role that is given to me by my company, but also I am in charge of the livelihood and the success of so many other people. And again, whether it being professionally or personally, they have children at home, they have like health issues that, you know, they might need accommodating for, etc. Like, there's so many different types of stories that I get to learn about different walks of life and so many, just so many different people. And I do love that. And again, like, I do like to keep those separate. But I'm very, very appreciative of everybody that I work for, because I could not be successful without them. But again, just for the respect of my company and that's like one of the few private things that I like to keep private. I will not tell you my like straight up title, or I will not try to share like the actual company that I work for, just out of respect for that being my main income, and I do need to, you know, protect it.
If you could only afford one party, which one would you go to?
I don't know for this answer, because they both have pros and cons. I was actually shocked with how much we loved Jollywood Nights. There is a huge stigma around Jollywood Nights that children shouldn't go, or it's not appropriate for children, or it's like an adults only party, which I just simply do not think is true. I think we were actually most successful at Jollywood Nights from an attraction standpoint, a meet and greet standpoint, food standpoint. They don't have as many parades or fireworks per se, but if you are into the shows, the attractions, the character meet and greets, like, I'm scared to say that I might actually prefer Jollywood Nights over Mickey's Very Merry Christmas. Don't hate me.
If you could only afford one party, which one would you go to?
Now, Mickey's Very Merry is a classic, so that's why I just can't decide which one to go to. And I know I'm not being helpful, and I apologize for that, but they're just such different parties. And we are a family that loves Hollywood Studios. Now, at the same time, Magic Kingdom has fireworks. They do have character meet and greets. They do have a plethora of attractions, and they have like the dance parties that were a blast to go to. So I don't know what answer to give you. Like, if you want to feel the Christmas magic, I guess I would say you need to go to Very Merry because it is more Christmassy. And of course, like, there's nothing like standing on Main Street and it's snowing. Like, that's just pure magic and like on everybody's bucket list until you do it. So again, I know I'm not really helpful. I would just try to navigate what is the better price. So on there, you can see, like, if you go different dates, the prices vary. The tickets are not the same price every single night of every single date that's on there. So if you're trying to be budget friendly, maybe take into consideration looking at the calendar of the prices of the tickets, compare the parties to see if they're any different. And, or maybe like both parties are going to be cheaper during certain time slot that could, be a little bit more closer to your budget range. I recognize that they are not cheap at all. But you definitely can't go wrong. Like, don't put so much pressure on you that you're like, oh my God, I've got to choose one. And I'm just going to be so upset if it turns out terrible. It's not going to happen. You're going to have a great time if you give yourself grace. And even like Mickey's Very Merry, I went in there with zero plan, like no plan at all. And we still had amazing time. Jollywood, I went in with a different type of strategy, and I went in there with a plan. So you'll figure something out. There is tons to do regardless if you go in with a very, very strategic plan or not. You're going to find something as long as you know the times of everything. And again, give yourself grace. And at the end of the day, if all you did was character meet and greets, ate snacks, and rode some rides, like, that's still an amazing time.
How were the wait times during Jollywood Nights early in the evening?
I truly don't think that they were bad at all. We got on to Slinky Dog and there was hardly any wait. Hollywood Studios, we did that 3 or 4 times. Aliens, like, truly no issue with the wait time at Jollywood Nights. And even though you didn't ask me, I'll just tell you anyway. The Very Merry Christmas Party, I also don't feel that the lines were bad at all. The only issue that we came into with the Very Merry Christmas Party is it happened to us like 5 times. We would get in line for a character, and then they would say, oh, you're the first one that we have to tell that, like, this party in front of you is going to be the last ones that they see, and they won't be back for another 45 minutes. I don't know how our luck managed with that, but it truly did happen like 4 times. So that was really the only problem that we had with lines. Again, like, we rode quite a bit in Magic Kingdom, but we didn't ride the huge lines because I just felt like we could do a lot more if we just stayed in one area of the park. Annie did want to go ride Big Thunder Mountain, and it had even like a posted wait time of 5 minutes. I think Seven Dwarfs Mine Train had a 35, something like that. And then the wait time that was posted for Jack and Sally, like the Santa Claus version, I think it was like 35 minutes. To meet Mickey and Minnie, the posted wait time when we went was like 15 minutes. I didn't time it, but it did not feel long. It might have even been shorter than that. So truly no, I was not ever upset about the wait times for truly anything of the party. But again, we just chilled and hung out, and we did a lot of the rides. Like we did Barnstormer and Mickey's Very Merry, like 4 times on that one too. Like there was a couple times we didn't even get off. So totally satisfied, no complaints with the wait times.
What was your favorite part going to the parties?
I love Christmas. I could skip over Halloween, no problem. I already skip over Thanksgiving without an issue. I don't like Thanksgiving, actually. It's just a big dry chicken that I'm just not interested in eating. It's whatever. Like this year, my family we're having like Italian, and cooking all the food is just so stressful and so time consuming. And we already all have crazy busy lives anyway. It doesn't make sense to me. If you really like stuffing, you can just have stovetop like tomorrow if you want it, or like macaroni and cheese. Like, I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I know that there's families out there that are like super big on Thanksgiving, and that's great, but I just don't think it's worth the stress of like cooking a huge meal and having all these leftovers, and it's just stressful to me. I don't need more stress in my life. I need peace. And so whipping up some Italian sounds way less stressful. And I think that was my mom's idea to do it this year. So I'm really cool with that. So back to the question on, again, in the weeds. So I loved being able to actually, one, dress up with Annie to go to these parties, like in our Christmas attire. That is just so fun to me, being able to dress and match for Christmas. Again, I'm just a Christmas girly. I love it. And I cannot wait to show you guys all of our Christmas PJs as well, because they're so cute, and we get matching PJs every single year. This year is super fun. Anyway, it's just another opportunity to spend with my girl and celebrate Christmas. So we love Christmas. I love why we celebrate Christmas. And we'll even have a birthday party for Jesus at our house. We'll make cake, and we'll have decorations and balloons up in our house. So it just goes back to me loving Christmas, me loving Jesus, and me loving spending time with Annie in a place where I can just be mentally free and stress-free while celebrating Christmas and seeing the snow falling on Main Street and being with a bunch of my friends and Mickey and Minnie. Like that sounds like a really great time.
Any new Christmas treats that we should try that aren't party exclusives?
We didn't really treat around like I thought I would. Of course, ice cream sandwiches are always on the menu at Disney World. I think I got some popcorn at Jollywood. Now, I was just thinking that I was just going to get the regular Disney World popcorn. I did not. Surprise to me. It was like kettle corn, which is fine, but it wasn't fine. It was so sticky and so sugary that I was like trying to get it out of my teeth. So wasn't crazy about it. Annie liked the M&Ms that were thrown in there. And then whenever I was chewing it because I just wanted a snack, I got surprised with little pieces of peppermint in the popcorn. So that eventually got thrown away. Like we didn't even eat like a quarter of the bag. It just got thrown away, and we ended up eating Woody's Lunchbox, the magical grilled cheese that they have, because it's so delicious. So we didn't really snack. Oh, the hot cocoa tart from Woody's Lunchbox. So you can get that at a not party. You can get that in normal life. It is seasonal, but during this time frame, you can just go to Hollywood Studios in your normal life with your normal park ticket and get one of those. And it was really good. Even Annie liked it. She liked the little marshmallows on top. That was all good. But we really didn't snack. We're actual like food people. If Tyler's like, hey, do you want a snack? What do you want as a snack? I'm like, a whole cheeseburger. Like I just want food. I don't really snack. I don't want to waste my calories on a snack. Just give me real food and something that's very savory and yummy. But those were really the only snacks that we did on this past trip.
Comparison of the crowd levels between the two parties.
Also, another great question that's making me think. So the crowd levels, they weren't upsetting at all. They were definitely lower than your normal Christmas crowds. Christmas crowds are frankly scary. Like for normal park days, that is a peak time. That is why prices are high. It's a little crazy. So that would be a positive as to if you're trying to make a budget-friendly decision on should you do a regular park ticket or should you do a party ticket. Like I would think that budget-friendly standpoint of time and getting things done and less crowds, going to a party would probably be best because wait times are better. And you don't have to pay for lightning lanes. I almost said Genie Plus, but you don't have to pay for the multi-pass at a party because the lines are already okay. During Christmas time at the parks, if you're going with a normal ticket, you're probably going to have to pay for a multi-pass. So just if you want to get in an attraction in a decent amount of time. So if you're trying to go from like a budget standpoint, I know this is not the exact question, but if you're trying to decide between like regular park ticket or the parties, probably the parties, now that we're talking about it, that's probably a better idea simply because of the crowds. Like I said, the worst the crowds that I've ever seen was Christmas time and spring break. Like spring break sent me in a full-blown anxiety attack and even made Annie feel uncomfortable. And she was like, let's go back to the resort, which I'm a resort person. I like to be at the resort. And we went back and got a big, large pizza and had Movie Under the Stars. Like no problem. The crowd levels are just really intense these times of years. But if we're comparing the crowd levels of both of the parties, I would say that the Jollywood Nights was significantly lower than Very Merry. Is it because people are saying like kids don't belong in Jollywood Nights, that, you know, maybe they're not going as much, maybe they're not selling as many tickets as they do Very Merry? I don't know the answer to those questions, but comparing the two parties now, I would definitely say that Very Merry crowd levels are more than Jollywood, but definitely both party crowd levels are lower than normal park days. All right, that's all the questions, and I'm so glad that you all were able to participate with me on this video by asking me all the good questions. So thank you. And again, thank you for all the support and the love. If we are not friends on Instagram, make sure to follow me on there because I do interact a lot on Instagram. So find me on there. Like this video again because it does help me out. It helps find all those moms that also need to feel confident and encouraged on their motherhood journey and or their trips to Disney World. So do that. If you've not already, subscribe to the channel and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all from the lights to the